Welcome to Passion Travel. Join us as we explore fascinating destinations, uncover hidden gems, and embark on unforgettable journeys. Subscribe now and ignite your passion for travel. Sidra, cider. Asturian cider is famous, and trying it fresh from the barrel is a must. Sidra, which is Spanish cider, you typically don't need specific ingredients, but rather an understanding of the traditional process. Here's a basic outline of what's involved. Ingredients. Apples, specific varieties like bitter apples are often preferred. Yeast, wild yeast from the apples or commercial cider yeast. Optionally, sugar, for sweetening, if desired. Instructions. Select and crush the apples. Choose ripe apples, preferably traditional bitter or bittersweet varieties used specifically for cider making. Wash the apples thoroughly and crush them to extract the juice. This can be done using a cider press or a juicer. Fermentation. Transfer the freshly pressed juice, known as must, into a fermentation vessel. If using wild yeast from the apples, fermentation will occur naturally. Alternatively, you can add commercial cider yeast to ensure consistent fermentation. Ferment the juice at a controlled temperature, around 50 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 to 18 degrees Celsius, for several weeks to allow the sugars to convert into alcohol. Racking, optional. After primary fermentation, some cider makers choose to rack the cider, transfer it to another vessel, to clarify it further and allow any sediment to settle. Bottling. Once fermentation is complete and the cider has clarified, it can be bottled. Some cider makers prefer to carbonate their cider naturally through bottle conditioning, where a small amount of additional sugar is added to each bottle before sealing. Maturation. Store the bottled cider in a cool, dark place for several months to allow it to mature and develop its flavor. Serving. Sidra is traditionally poured from a height into a glass to aerate it and bring out its flavors. It's often enjoyed chilled. Castañas Asadas, roasted chestnuts sold during colder months. Castañas Asadas is a traditional Spanish dish of roasted chestnuts. Here's how you can prepare it. Ingredients. Fresh chestnuts. Instructions. Preheat the oven. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius. Prepare the chestnuts. Using a sharp knife, carefully score an X on the flat side of each chestnut. This allows steam to escape during roasting and prevents them from bursting. Roasting. Place the scored chestnuts on a baking sheet in a single layer. Roast in the oven. Roast the chestnuts in the preheated oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until the shells start to peel back and the insides are tender. You may need to adjust the roasting time, depending on the size and freshness of the chestnuts. Cooling and peeling. Remove the chestnuts from the oven and let them cool slightly until they are cool enough to handle. Peel off the outer shell and the inner skin, pellicle, while they are still warm. This is easier to do when the chestnuts are warm. Serve. Enjoy the roasted chestnuts warm as a delicious snack. They can also be served with a sprinkle of salt or used in various recipes. Frixuelos, thin pancakes filled with cream, chocolate, or jam. Frixuelos are traditional Asturian crepes or pancakes. Here's a recipe to prepare them. Ingredients. 1 cup all-purpose flour. 2 eggs. 1 cup milk. 1/4 cup sugar. Zest of 1 lemon, optional. Pinch of salt. Vegetable oil or butter for frying. Instructions. Prepare the batter. In a mixing bowl, whisk together the flour, sugar, salt, and lemon zest, if using. Add eggs and milk. Make a well in the center of the dry ingredients and crack in the eggs. Gradually whisk in the milk until you have a smooth batter without lumps. Rest the batter. Let the batter rest for at least 30 minutes at room temperature. This allows the flour to fully hydrate and helps develop the flavor. Cooking the frixuelos. Heat a non-stick skillet or crepe pan over medium heat. Brush the pan lightly with oil or melt a small amount of butter. Pour a small ladleful of batter into the center of the pan, swirling it around quickly to spread it thinly and evenly across the bottom. Cook the frixuelo for about 1 to 2 minutes on the first side until the edges begin to curl and the surface appears dry. Carefully flip the frixuelo using a spatula and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes on the second side until lightly golden. Transfer the cooked frixuelo to a plate and continue with the remaining batter, stacking the frixuelos as you go. Serve. Frixuelos are traditionally served warm. They can be enjoyed plain, sprinkled with sugar, filled with jam or Nutella, or folded into quarters and drizzled with honey. Berberechos, steamed cockles served with lemon. Berberechos are known as cockles in English. Here's how you can prepare them. Ingredients: fresh cockles, berberechos. Water. Salt, optional. Instructions. Cleaning the cockles. Rinse the fresh cockles under cold water to remove any dirt or sand. You can scrub them gently with a brush if needed. Cooking. Place the cleaned cockles in a large pot or saucepan. Add a small amount of water, just enough to cover the bottom of the pot. The cockles will release their own juices as they cook, so you don't need too much water. Optionally, you can sprinkle a little salt over the cockles, although some prefer not to add salt due to the natural salinity of the cockles. Steaming. Cover the pot with a lid and steam the cockles over medium-high heat for about 5 to 7 minutes. Shake the pot occasionally to distribute the heat evenly. Checking for doneness. The cockles are done when their shells have opened up. Discard any cockles that do not open after cooking, as they may not be safe to eat. Serving. Serve the cooked cockles hot, either as a standalone dish or as part of a seafood platter. You can also drizzle them with a little olive oil and sprinkle with freshly chopped parsley or a squeeze of lemon juice for added flavor. Cachopo, breaded and fried veal or pork cutlets stuffed with ham and cheese. Cachopo is a traditional dish from Asturias, Spain, consisting of 2 large veal fillets stuffed with cheese and sometimes ham, coated in breadcrumbs, and fried until crispy. Here's a recipe to prepare cachopo. Ingredients: 2 large veal fillets, about half an inch thick each. 4 slices of ham, optional. 4 slices of cheese, traditionally Asturian cheeses like cabrales or similar. All-purpose flour, for dredging. 2 eggs, beaten. Breadcrumbs, for coating. Salt and pepper, to taste. Olive oil or vegetable oil, for frying. Instructions. Prepare the veal fillets. Place each veal fillet between 2 sheets of plastic wrap or parchment paper. Using a meat mallet or rolling pin, pound the fillets to flatten them evenly to about a 1/4 inch thickness. Assemble the cachopo. Season the flattened veal fillets with salt and pepper. Place a slice of cheese on one fillet, followed by a slice of ham, if using, and another slice of cheese. Top with the second veal fillet to form a sandwich. Secure the cachopo. Press the edges of the veal fillets together to seal in the cheese and ham filling. Coat the cachopo. Dredge the assembled cachopo in flour, shaking off any excess. Dip it into the beaten eggs, ensuring it's evenly coated. Finally, coat the cachopo in breadcrumbs, pressing gently to adhere. Fry the cachopo. Heat a generous amount of olive oil or vegetable oil in a large skillet over medium-high heat. Carefully place the coated cachopo in the hot oil and fry until golden brown and crispy on both sides, about 4 to 5 minutes per side. If necessary, fry the cachopo in batches to avoid overcrowding the pan. Serve. Once cooked, transfer the cachopo to a paper towel-lined plate to drain any excess oil. Slice the cachopo into portions and serve hot, traditionally accompanied by fried potatoes or a fresh salad. Calamares a la Romana, deep-fried squid rings served with lemon. Calamares a la Romana is a popular Spanish dish consisting of deep-fried squid rings. Here's how you can prepare it. Ingredients: 1 pound, 450 g, squid, calamari, cleaned and sliced into rings. 1 cup all-purpose flour. Half a cup cornstarch, corn flour. 1 teaspoon baking powder. Salt and pepper, to taste. 1 cup cold water. Vegetable oil, for frying. Lemon wedges, for serving. Optional, garlic aioli or marinara sauce, for dipping. Instructions. Prepare the squid. Clean the squid thoroughly, removing the skin, innards, and cartilage. Cut the squid tubes into rings about ½ inch thick. Prepare the batter. In a mixing bowl, combine the flour, cornstarch, baking powder, salt, and pepper. Gradually add the cold water to the dry ingredients, whisking until you have a smooth batter with a consistency similar to pancake batter. It should coat the back of a spoon but not be too thick. Heat the oil. Heat vegetable oil in a deep fryer or a large, heavy-bottomed pot to 350 degrees Fahrenheit 175 degrees Celsius. Coat and fry the squid. Working in batches, dip the squid rings into the batter, ensuring they are well coated. Carefully lower the battered squid rings into the hot oil, frying them for about 2 to 3 minutes or until golden brown and crispy. Use a slotted spoon or tongs to remove the fried squid rings from the oil and transfer them to a plate lined with paper towels to drain excess oil. Pimientos de Padrón, fried green pepper sprinkled with sea salt. ChatGPT. Pimientos de Padrón are small green peppers from the Padrón region in Galicia, Spain. They are typically sautéed in olive oil and sprinkled with sea salt, enjoyed as a popular tapas dish. Here's how you can prepare them. Ingredients. Pimientos de Padrón, Padrón peppers. Olive oil. Sea salt. Instructions. Prepare the peppers. Rinse the Padrón peppers under cold water and pat them dry with a paper towel. Heat olive oil. Heat a generous amount of olive oil in a large skillet or frying pan over medium-high heat. The amount of oil should be enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Sauté the peppers. Add the Padrón peppers to the hot oil in a single layer. Be careful, as they may splatter a bit when they start cooking. Sauté the peppers, stirring occasionally until they blister and become tender. This usually takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Season and serve. Once the peppers are cooked and blistered, remove them from the heat. Transfer the sautéed peppers to a serving dish and sprinkle generously with sea salt while they are still hot.